Happy Saturday, Sooner Nation, and what a Saturday it is to be a Sooner. Great Saturday to be a Sooner. First, thanks for watching the videos here at the Sooner Surge. We appreciate all the subscribers. Big time news for the Sooners today as they land another commitment in the 2025 class. This one out of Little Rock, Arkansas, Parkview Magnet High School. Safety, Amarian Robinson, 6 foot, 170. Some places have him as the number one player in the state of Arkansas, but also great in the return game. And again, Jackson, Brandon Hall showing his recruiting prowess.
Jeremy, you said it. Brandon Hall on the recruiting trail, an absolute dog, Jeremy. This guy pretty much gets whoever he wants at any times at this point. In the 2024 class, Reggie Powers and Michael Boganowski, two elite players that he landed, along with Jaden Hardy. In 2025, now you see Amarian Robinson committed to Oklahoma at safety. And recently, I believe it was just last week, in which he won defensive back MVP at the Rivals Top 250 camp. And actually at the camp, Jeremy, he wasn't even playing safety. He was playing corner. So you talk about a player that has a nose for the ball, a knack for the ball, someone that I think whenever you see him play in high school, you're like, this guy at the majority of schools has a chance to come in and play his freshman year with just his natural instincts on the football field. But at Oklahoma, it's super hard to get on the field in the safety room. And Jeremy, as I said, what Brandon Hall has done, landing the likes of Peyton Bowen, keeping Robert Spears-Jennings committed to Oklahoma. And then along with getting Michael Boganowski, Reggie Powers, Jaden Hardy, and many more guys, Jeremy, he's done an absolute great job. And Brandon Hall has turned the safety room into what is arguably the deepest and most talented room on the whole entire Oklahoma roster.
Yeah, really across the board, the secondary safety room is phenomenal. Amarian Robinson, a guy who's been great at safety, been great in the return game. I think had 4 TDs last year total. But you also look at something that you just said, and I think it's important to note. At 6 foot, he can play safety. It's what he's always done. But you talked about how great he was at this camp where he played DB. I think he's a guy, Amarian Robinson's a guy that maybe he gets on campus and makes that move to corner, to DB. He's one who can pretty much play anywhere in the back end. And I think that's great to have the ability to switch back and forth, because when a room is as deep as that room is at OU, you've got to be able to maybe make adjustments. But I think he's a guy that can get some playing time early at the University of Oklahoma, specifically on special teams. He's phenomenal. And OU lands him, Jackson, is able to get him. Oregon wanted him. Of course, Arkansas for sure wanted him, but Oregon, I think, was one of the major players, and he visited OU, I think, back June 21st, and now they land the commitment of Amarian Robinson. Just a great get again for Brandon Hall. I think with his ability to go from DB to safety to special teams, he's one of those three-way type guys that has a better chance of playing because of that.
Yeah, Jeremy, you said it. You know, he was originally, it felt like Arkansas for the longest time felt like was the leader there. Then Amarian Robinson, he got on campus, I believe it was for the spring game, and he just loved his time here. And then you talk about Oklahoma and Oregon really coming into play. Oregon and Oklahoma have debatably, over these last few months, been the two hottest teams on the recruiting trail. So that was a battle in which was going to be tough to win. And just Brandon Hall, Jeremy, he did it. And you said it. He has the potential to play corner, safety, or contribute on special teams early. And with us really not knowing what Oklahoma is going to do in the SEC defensively scheme-wise, we're going to see him go to that 3-3-5, a 4-2-5. Maybe you could see at times a 4-1-6, and you can have a guy like Amarian Robinson on the field who can line up at nickel, who can line up at corner, who can line up at safety. And also that's something that I think is being understated about Brandon Hall is he is very specifically targeting guys in high school that contribute a ton on special teams and that are very, very versatile and can play multiple spots. For example, a guy like Michael Boganowski in the 2024 class, who at times in high school would line up at linebacker and is absolutely a monster hitter. Or Jaden Hardy, who played actually corner the majority of his time at Louisville his senior year. So the versatility, I think, is another underrated thing about the safety room, and Amarian Robinson just adds to it.
great footwork, quick with the hips. You said earlier, knack for the football. I'm going to throw a couple names out, Sooner fans, for you to maybe, if you want to say who this guy reminds me of, and I may be way off base here, but his knack for the ball reminds me a lot of a guy by the name of Trey Norwood, a guy who's just around the football. You can't really even coach it. They just smell the ball and they're around it. Amarian Robinson's that guy. And then size-wise, he's not far off from a Derek Strait. And I think he has lockdown capabilities of someone like that if he's going to play at the corner. He's not the most physical guy. There's more physical guys than Amarian Robinson, but this guy has a lot of those intangibles that a DB has to have.
Yeah, Jeremy said it. And I think another great comparison is a guy that's currently on the Oklahoma roster in Peyton Bowen. Not a guy that's big, not a guy that you're going to see probably come down and play a ton in the box and just absolutely destroy people in the run game. But he's someone, Jeremy, as we said, has just such a natural ability to cover, a natural ability for the game of football, a high IQ when he's out there on the field. And in order to play in a Brent Venables defense, you have to know what you're doing at all times on the field with how complex it is. And Amarian Robinson, just watching this film, he understands the game of football at such a high level for someone of his age. And now I'm not saying that his freshman year he's going to come in and start, but I do think just with his natural IQ for the game of football, as I've said so many times, is so crucial, and he's going to find a way to get on the field with just how effective his feel for the game is. And I would not be shocked if the next 2 to 3 years, if we're talking about Omarion Robinson, Jeremy, being an All-American. You remember in the 2024 class, the safety I was highest on by far was Jaden Hardy. And in 2025, I love the film of Amarian Robinson, and I expect him to come in and make his impact felt immediately, because we've seen that year in and year out, young guys that Brent Venables has recruited, they just understand the game of football, and they come in and make an impact with just how smart they are on the field and how college ready they are.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing here, as you've alluded to, is OU has now signed 2 really, really good classes in that back end, and they're starting to stack some depth in some runes that you got to have some depth in. And Omarion Robinson adds to that and adds to it really well. Omarion Robinson is committed to the University of Oklahoma, again, out of Little Rock, Arkansas, Parkview Magnet High School. He is going to be a Sooner. Thanks again, everybody, for watching all the content here at the Sooner Surge. Appreciate all those who have subscribed, who continue to view our channel, and we'll see you next time.